With profound humble gratitude and love to all venerated enlightened masters, we bow to the Almighty in soulful gratefulness for gifting us with their holy blessed presence. May all beings be awakened by their divine grace.
Part 4 of 4.
Etc.
Be vegan, make peace, do good deeds, heaven Godspeed.
Our programs offer many languages. Please visit suprememastertv.com/schedule.
When the food is in its peak brightness, the antioxidant level is highest. You find it's also most tasty then is when the foods become accessible to humans. And that is nature's design, that is the language of love, the language of harmony.
Please stay with us to enjoy this illuminating Congress.
If we continue like this, to exist in this way as humanity, we will destroy ourselves. Simply because these livestock farms pollute the environment, pollute nature. If we don't take action now, it will be too late in the future. Nicola Donovan, vegan.
Today's program will be presented in English with subtitles in Arabic. Aulas is also known as Vietnamese, Chinese, English, French, German, Hindi, Hungarian, Indonesian, Korean, Mongolian, Persian, Portuguese, Russian, Spanish, Thai, and Ukrainian or Uranian. Welcome, energetic viewers. At Joseph, welcome in Belizean Creole. Hope you are having a wonderful day filled with good cheer. I am Barbara. The considerate Belizeans wish you peace and contentment in heaven's love. Belize is a warm and welcoming country located on the northeastern coast of Central America, bordering Mexico to the north and Guatemala to the south and west. With English as the official language, Belizean society is highly multicultural with many languages spoken, including Belizean Creole, Spanish, and Mayan languages. In ancient times, Belize was the heartland of the Maya Empire. To this day, a significantly large number of Maya ruins have been found here, with some dating back as far as 2600 BC. Belize is renowned for its unique.
The destruction is something that we really need to look closely at because we are destroying ourselves. I'm not sure you've seen this documentary before. Life After People. Anybody seen this? Life After People. For those of you who haven't, this documentary explains what happens to planet Earth when humans perish. They had a view of experts how the planet actually restores itself when humans leave the planet. And we're moving fast towards this. I think one of the ideas of the producer of this documentary is to awaken people, is to let us know that we're moving towards this. If we don't do anything about it, we'll be there soon. Because according to calculations, we need 1.5 planets to sustain the current rate of resources we're consuming based on US standards. So it's not only possible, it's the most natural and it's the best way to celebrate life. I'm just going to briefly mention the third part of my workshop. After this, at 4:30, we are having a workshop. If you'd like to join, we will strongly encourage you. This is to exemplify what I've been saying earlier, of how the plant-based diet is truly beneficial. So in that workshop, I'm going to explain the goodness nature intended, talk about the ingredients I use, and do a hands-on. Okay, this workshop is a hands-on. We're going to have many stations, hopefully 10 stations and 10 different sets of ingredients, 10 different kinds of smoothies. and you do it hands-on. I'm going to demonstrate one smoothie, and you can sample it, and then you do the 10, and you can sample the other 10 smoothies if you like. Okay, to show you the versatility of the smoothie making. I'm just sharing with you some of the points that I explained during that workshop. The more processed the foods you consume, the more resources it consumes. Okay, so to us, maybe a very innocent plate of noodles, but actually a lot of energy is gone into it. So it's best that we consume food that is as unprocessed as possible. Because the more processed the food is, the less the nutrients, and the body will be craving for nutrients. So you find that many of us eat because of the craving to eat, because the body is starving of nutrients. So as a result, we eat even more, we gorge even more. And what do we eat? We eat even more empty calories. So it's very common that this happens, and we set up a cycle of overeating. Okay, so the point is that the diet we choose drains the planet's resources. This stuff is good, all the good stuff is here, no bad stuff. Nutrient dense. And the point I'm making here about being easily absorbed, many bodybuilders also like this kind of diet because the particles of finely ground is easy for the body to absorb. I'll be explaining some of the ingredients we use, why we soak them in a certain way, what the benefits are. This is flaxseeds. Flaxseeds are good for anti-aging, bone health. And I'll be explaining why the fruits that we use seem to look a bit overripe. I think by most people standard, they think it's overripe. Actually, that is where the nutrient level is highest. Okay, so this is about a bit about the art of eating fruits. This is an example, is when you see the black spots here. Okay, that's the best time to eat the fruit because according to that study, according to this Belgium study, it is when the fruit is in its peak ripeness that the antioxidant level is highest. You find it's also most tasty, it's the sweetest, it's when the fruit drops from the tree. It is when the fruit is meant to be eaten, it is when the fruits become accessible to humans. Okay, that is nature's design, that is the language of love, the language of harmony. That's the way it's supposed to be. I think most people would start throwing the bananas away at this stage, right? But actually, it's the best time to eat them. This is just a sample of the smoothies that we've been doing. This is a passion fruit smoothie. You can see the different kinds of fruits we use. There'll be 10 altogether. Depending on the crowd I get, maybe we do less. Anyway, I'm just showing you 6 of the samples. This is a plum smoothie. I'm using all local fruits here, okay, because we are trying to encourage people to use what is available near you to make it into something that is very healthy and very tasty. I think we all know what healthy food is. It's a question of making it taste good. And that's the whole idea behind this smoothie making workshop, to encourage people, to show people how it can be done. Very simple, nutrient dense, it can be done by anyone, even a child can do it. This is the green one, it's a green smoothie. I have 10 recipes. The first 4 are fruity smoothies, the second group are green smoothies, and the third group is nut milks. Okay, so it caters to different kinds. People who want high protein, for example, should go for the nut milk. We introduced this to some schools in Singapore, and well, it was only partially successful. This was the most successful one, you know, all the kids went for the chocolate smoothie. This is using figs. The figs I'm using here, this is a dried one, but I think over here you can get the fresh ones. So I'll be ending here. I just want to remind you that I think it's important that we think that diet is not just for our stomach, it's also about the planet. We're all connected, and it's good to return the kindness of the earth. Are there questions you'd like to ask?
Thank you very much. My question was, having just fruits, how does that affect our sugar level, and is it enough in terms of carbohydrates, and how do you balance between those that give sugar very quickly and have a lot of sugar and those that don't?
Yeah, I've been asked that question many times about sugar levels. What I do is I combine, because if it's just sweet fruits, the sugar level will take a jump. Okay, so you find that I use fruits that are not always sweet. It also depends from body to body. I use nuts and seeds too. Okay, many of the recipes I use nuts and seeds to balance on this. And by the way, these smoothies I'm making are not drinks, no, they are meals. Because I survive on them. I live on these things. I don't eat rice. In my normal meals, I don't eat rice. When I'm outside, maybe I do. So I use nuts and seeds to balance. And sometimes I use things like papaya. Papaya may not always be sweet. And I think also my body has been adapted to it, so my body doesn't react to it. I do long distance runs sometimes. And there was one time I ate only papaya, papaya for 10 km run. And I was expecting my energy level to drop, but it never came. So I think also the body's condition needs to be adapted.
Any other questions?
So you classify yourself as raw fruitarian?
Raw vegetarian?
No, a raw fruitarian.
Right.
Once you transition into being raw, how do you deal with the detox effects?
Oh yeah, I think that's a good question. Because when some people jump into this fruitarian diet, the body reacts because it's a highly detoxifying diet. Some people even experience fever or runny nose because the body it jumps into a detox mode. So in my case, I've gone through many kinds of vegetarian diets. I started eating brown rice and all the cool stuff. One time I was eating a lot of pancakes, and then I was eating salads and all that. But I came into this gradually. So it's a matter of proportion. I was eating the normal cooked foods, like most people, and then I started to increase my raw fruitarian diet.
How many percent are you today?
Now I'm about 80%, 80.
So you do the 80-20.
Yeah. But I think if I want to, I can switch to 100%. It's not a big deal. Just out of convenience, like when I'm here, I do eat cooked foods to stay alive.
Any other questions? Yes.
How sustainable is a fruitarian or a raw food diet in a region like this?
It's very sustainable. My meal times are like everybody else. And as I was saying earlier, if you eat a lot of sweet, juicy fruits, yeah, you can't sustain. I get weak. I get the hypoglycemic effect very soon. But when I get some nuts and seeds, it sustains. So balancing it with the nuts and seeds is important.
All right. There was a question here. Yeah, the microphone is coming to you.
We are living here in the Emirates. There's a little sort of scarcity of fruits and vegetables. So everything is imported, right? So when things are imported, it's imported very raw, and it thrives here in the shop or in the supermarkets. So how do you feel people living in this part of the world, how would they adjust to be a fruitarian, or how would the nutrients in the fruits would be enough for us?
Right.
My question is that we are buying them unripe, or it's coming from its country,
right,
not ripe, like a green, and it comes yellow here, it takes its color here, and it ripes here. So how healthy is that? This is my question.
Right.
I mean, would it keep its nutrients all this time?
Yeah.
If I'm in my country, for example, I just get a fig from the tree and eat it. I can get something from the land and eat it. That's 100% nutrient, 100% full.
Yes.
But what about here? This is my question.
Right.
How full it is? How much nutrients are still in there?
Yeah.
With all this strip and all the pesticides and all this.
Right. There's a test by New Skin. They test the antioxidant levels. Have you seen this? They shoot a laser beam into your skin, and then they test the antioxidant levels. Yeah. And anyway, I had mine tested, and mine is right at the top of the range. So although in Singapore we don't get fresh fruits, we don't have trees to pluck the fruits from. All our fruits and vegetables are imported. And I've been surviving on that. So far it's been good. Of course, having the real naturally ripened fruits is best, no doubt about that. But speaking from my experience, it's not been a problem. So what I do is I buy the fruits unripe and I let it sit in my kitchen until it is ripe. I do that. And I try to buy fruits, like bananas for example, I try to buy the local ones, not the imported ones, because I'm told that there's a lot of pesticides sprayed for the exported ones. So try and buy local, go local.
Yes, Papa has a question.
I'm having a comment actually.
Yes.
We will fight here. As an expert in nutrition,
Right.
with all the studies in the world,
Right.
you cannot live only on fruits.
Yeah.
You can't. Impossible. Vitamin B12,
Right.
unless you take it as a supplement.
Right.
Iron deficiency anemia, lactating pregnancy, type 2 diabetes. It's good to have it for 1 day in a week,
Right.
weekly basis.
Right.
I agree on that. But to have it as a pattern,
Right.
I stopped myself not to comment, but I couldn't.
Yeah.
You cannot.
Yeah.
You cannot. You will have deficiencies.
Right.
And you have to compensate these deficiencies by taking them as supplements, tablets. Because never ever you will get from nuts, smoothies, B12. Never ever you will have iron, which comes from heme. Heme means hemoglobin to be produced. As an expert in nutrition, certified clinical dietitian, I cannot tell you you have to be a fruitarian all your life.
Right.
You have, from my point of view, to have it for detoxifying. It's an excellent diet for detoxification. I do agree on that, but once in a week or twice or thrice in a month. I'm sorry, but I have to say that.
No, it's a good point because this is not the first time I'm hearing this. I've been told many times that this is impossible. I think that's why the question was raised. To be honest with you, I do take vitamin B12 supplements. Okay, because B12, the original source of B12 is soy bacteria. Okay, we all think that it must be from meat, from animal products. But the original source of B12 is from soil bacteria. It is synthesized by soil bacteria. Animal products have it because animal graze from the ground. They eat the contamination of B12 and it goes into the eggs, goes into the milk, goes into the meat. But because the ground is so contaminated now, we don't take groundwater. I mean, if you drink well water, spring water, it would have been there. But we can't do that these days because it is too polluted, too dangerous to do that. So, yes, I do take vitamin B12 supplements. That's the only supplement I take. Okay. And all the others, I don't have a problem. I've been doing this for 9 years. 9 years. I'm still here. I'm still alive. So I know there's a lot of scientific studies to say that, is this really possible? Can you really live on just fruits? But like I say, my fruits includes nuts and seeds. Yeah. I think if it's just juicy fruits, no. I tried, it didn't work.
Yeah, but when I'd like to share that when I was a vegan for 2.5 years, I used to get my hemoglobin levels checked. And surprisingly, because it wasn't just fruits, but I would make sure that I would have the vegetables which have just maybe traces of iron in there. And I never had a problem. I could donate blood even during the time. So it's...
My iron level is very high. My iron level is on the upper limit. Wow. Because, No, because lots of fruits have iron. When you cut the fruits turn brown. That's the iron oxidizing. Yeah, nuts. Prunes, dates, lots of them have iron. So iron is never going to problem.
Sure. Any questions? Any further questions? Okay, quickly, because we have to go for a break.
Thank you. Could you please tell us what is a day's meal in terms of what do you have for breakfast and lunch?
Okay, sure. It varies, okay? I don't have rules. I follow what my body tells me. But morning is always something fruity, something bright. So it's always more citrus. And actually, if you're eating a fruity smoothie, it's best not to add nuts and seeds.
So, sorry, could you just, when you say citrus fruits, you'd have one orange?
Oh, I see. Or lime, lemon, banana, kiwi, whatever's in my fridge actually. Mangoes. Mangoes is a very good energy supplier. Flax seeds, goji berries. I think flax and goji berries, I have it almost every meal, or 1 teaspoon or so every meal, a little bit each time, and whatever else is in my fridge. But for energy is largely bananas and mangoes.
A big hand for you.
Thank you.
Before we go for break, I would like to request you to please introduce yourself to the person sitting behind you. I'm sure you know the person sitting on your left side or the right side. Just your name, and so that when you see each other at the break, then you would at least know a few more people. And done? Come on guys, everybody. We're not strangers here, we are all here to participate in a wonderful, life-changing program. Okay, excellent. Guys, the break that we are going to have is going to be for 15 minutes. So kindly, if you could be back there by 12:30. And the break is called Food for the Soul. This meal will be brought to this Congress by Radhe, the purely vegetarian restaurant located in Dubai, started over a year ago. Radhe believes in the simple philosophy that energy from food strongly influences the thought, which in turn creates the person that you are. So these are the foundations of the food at Radhe. Guys, see you back in 15 minutes. Thank you for being such a nice, patient audience.
It's okay to make war. Only others will die or suffer. The people in your war-ravaged country will have to continue paying tax, to lavish all means, to keep you well fed and safe anyway.
Enchanting viewers, thank you for your presence today for the first Middle East Vegetarian or MEVEG Congress on Words of Wisdom. Please join us next Monday, January 2nd for part 7 of this illuminating conference. Coming up next is A Dog's Journey, a story of selfless loyalty. May the celestial light and music soothe and inspire you always.
Be vegan, make peace, do good deeds, hell not reach.
Our programs offer many languages. Please visit suprememastertv.com/schedule and suprememastertv.com/WOW.
Nos programmes offrent plusieurs langues. Veuillez visiter suprememastertv.com/schedule et suprememastertv.com/WOW.
Nuestros programas ofrecen varios idiomas. Visiten suprememastertv.com/schedule y suprememastertv.com/WOW.
Unsere Sendungen bieten viele Sprachen. Gehen Sie auf suprememastertv.com/schedule und suprememastertv.com/WOW.